Spider-Man, but first a quick little status of the channel and everything and such. Here's a timestamp to skip if you want to go there. If not, shouldn't be more than a minute or two. Go ahead, David.
So, basically, there's a difference in a personality type between myself and the other guys here, and we kind of touched on this in the past, but I am super fucking introverted, and they are extremely extroverted, to the point where I basically force on a persona in a lot of things. Harken back to the early days where I was using the Azazel, like, oh, I'm the demon lord kind of shit, and it became kind of cultish in some comments. And,
well, it's not to say that you're faking, like, it's not you, it's just more of like a more hyper version of you than actually exists in real life. Whereas me, I just kind of tap into, like, when I'm excited about shit, like, so if I read One Piece and we're doing a One Piece review, I'll tap into that energy and then, like, the hype, and then just kind of ride that hype train, right? Because when I really get excited, I can start talking a million miles a minute and I end up being perfect for a YouTube channel, right? Whereas David kind of has to, I think he realizes that the formula for YouTube is people kind of want that energy, and David can only force that for so long. So if you're new to the channel, basically what I wanted to touch on here is yesterday he posted a video about going on hiatus, and this and the Chainsaw Man video this weekend will be the last 2 videos he films, and then he's taking a month break. This has happened before, but it was before our big subscriber blow up. So basically, just this will happen occasionally. Every once in a while, David's just gonna dip out and like recharge, because that's just kind of who he is as a person. He can't continue this this YouTuber creator train like Thurman and I can. So the only thing that's going to change is everything Thurman and I do will keep going. The JoJo shit I just started with my buddy Andrew will keep going. Only thing that's going to change is after Chainsaw Man 35, probably be a month without those, and then they'll be back right after probably like a month to a month and a half, and then David will come right back, and then we'll be right back on that train. Beyond that, nothing will really change. It's just David taking a break, and the main point I wanted to bring up here, just like David said, is, it truly is just a personality thing. Like, introverts, one of my favorite quotes is, introverts lose energy when they're hanging out with people, and they need to go and recharge, whereas extroverts recharge by hanging out with people.
Exactly.
So as I feel better when it's like, oh, it's weekend time, what do I want to do? I jam pack every single moment with hanging out with people, whereas that would exhaust an introvert, So think of YouTube like that for David. Like, he loves it, and it's not that he doesn't. Like just like us, the comment section, the community brings him so much joy. It's just every once in a while he will need to take that month break, and that's what that was yesterday. So nothing is changing other than anything that David would be in will be Davidless for the next month, besides things that we've pre-recorded. So basically just maybe 1 or 2 things max.
Yeah, I think there's a bucket of, 5 videos right now?
I'll have to see. I'm not too sure. But, mostly it's just going to be a month without David. Almost nothing will change other than things that are David exclusive. And yeah, final thoughts on that whole thing, David?
So one of my favorite things, and this is a social post that my friend Kate put up, and it's so true, because it kind of felt like an attack because we're both super introverted, and it was basically the fact that how introverts like us make friends is we're adopted by extroverts.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we would have nobody in our circle. And that's why I have this small circle mentality. I choose quality over quantity. And I've done that as I've aged into, adulthood, as I've shrunk my circle to, you guys here on the channel. And by extension, the community, obviously. But I get to the point where I get this burnout to where I don't enjoy things I love. And that has a little bit to do with my depression, and that has a lot to do with being, super introverted and, I guess in a way, kind of closed-minded and not wanting to expand my horizons a lot. That's why it took me a super long time to dive into Dr. Stone, which I'm just now starting. That's why I, closed myself off to, my friends are doing this thing. I'll open up to a few of these and try them. It took me until you and I were at ITT even to fucking really fully dive into One Piece. And that's why I said
I remember
in the fucking video, if you guys ever want to take this break, I feel kind of obligated to allow you guys to take a break as well, because look how many times I fucked off into oblivion.
I can assure you, David, it will probably never happen unless I'm physically unable to do the channel, because I'm at the point this is me. I fucking live for this channel. I like straight up. Like well, I mean, if you were to like say have to have surgery and need me to cut again like you did. Just as a reminder, when I had surgery, I did a drugged up from the hospital room review.
Yeah. I remember. Like, you told me about that, and you were editing it in the fucking hospital.
Yeah, I like this channel.
But there is no reason to do that to yourself either. Like,
I like it.
I get that you like it, my dude.
For me, Thurman, I'm sorry, I called you Thurman, I apologize. For me, David, have you ever talked to people where it blows your mind because they like work? They're like, yeah, I like the challenge, and you're like, what are you talking about? I like being lazy, right? I finally get that mentality now, because that's how I feel about this channel. Sure, there are challenges sometimes. There are challenges to get content out on time. There's challenges to do this on time. But I like the challenge when it's something I like. And that's what proves to me this is something I like, because I live for that shit. I love getting shit out on time. I love seeing how many views it gets. I love watching the comments. I will never get sick of this channel. David just needs his little refreshers, and which is totally fair, because that's the kind of personality he is.
I was telling you, and before we started, to do this video here, like, I was telling you, like, I was blown away by the response we got for, like, the JoJo that you and Andrew did. And I'm like, at this point, I don't care what you guys do. I got into that little moment where, like, you, early days, were like,
over-worried about stuff.
Is this going to do well? And I'm like, saw the views on. Like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm worrying about absolutely nothing. These guys know how the fuck to do this. They don't need me to babysit the channel. Just like, I had to reassure you in the early days, like, you don't need to babysit it. Just,
yeah.
Our roles have kind of fucking reversed there for a minute. And,
yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of things on this channel that I couldn't have done without you. But in the same token, and I very rarely will pat myself on the back, because for the most part I hate myself, but like, I know, I'm one of the things that I will always be proudest of in my life is kind of pushing this channel to the idea of anime reviews, because I knew that had a market. And so like, I think that, we've both kind of, in the sense, I drove kind of the idea of where it was going to go, but you were good at getting me outside of a comfort zone, because I would be nervous to try new things sometimes. You brought, I think the best thing you've done so far is brought Chainsaw Man to the table, which has gotten a lot of new people here. So I mean, what you're very good at is kind of being like, come on, Red, let's try this new thing, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think there's, in any group, you have to have that person that's pushing new ideas.
Exactly. I have always been an idea guy. I've never been one to just sit there and do a lot of shit. That's one thing that, he's gone now, but that's one thing that Noble and I really had in common, is like, I'm an idea guy. By the way,
he's gone now does not mean dead.
He's dead to me, but whatever. But like, fucking, that's one thing that he and I had in common, is like, I am super, pushy at ideas. Like, I want to try this, I want to try this. Like the Twitch, that's something I enjoy, that live reaction style of things, to the point where I really prefer that, and we're live, let's see how bad we can fuck this up kind of thing. I love that. But at the same time, even that drains me. Everything has this give and take with somebody that's super introverted. And that's basically the bottom line of this. Like, fucking, I will always, take my time when I need it to go and recharge. Sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's, a little bit longer, sometimes it's like a couple days. Like, I'll fuck off of social media for a week at a time and just ghost the entire planet. And
yeah, he straight up deletes, like, all of his shit.
Yeah, like, that's my way of, like, being away from that, because I live the Black Mirror mentality. Like, I live for my fucking phone to a detrimental level sometimes.
It can be detrimental for sure. On what you said, though, the wanting to take a break, I just wanted to point out, like, to our audience too, the sad truth of in order to be a successful YouTuber or any sort of content creator, you have to have consistency, right? And luckily, we are a group channel here, so we can cover for each other if we ever need to. But it is a sad truth. And listen, one of the few things, I have OCD, clinically diagnosed OCD, as in, like, I'm not just one of those, like, people that are like, oh, I'm so OCD because I organize shit. No, like, actual, like, OCD, right? And what that does for me, there are a lot of detrimental things it does, one of which is, like, constant paranoid thoughts will go through my head. But the good thing is that it means when I start shit, I'm very consistent and I'm going to see it through, right? So when I get into a pattern, it's hard for me to get into a habit, but once I have that habit, it is incredibly hard for me to break it. Yep. And that is one of the good things about my OCD. And so what that has done is, ever since this channel became part of, like, my daily routine, it's been very difficult. Even if there's a day where I'm busy and I need to meet someone at this time or whatever, I will literally be late for that meeting in order to upload a video if I have to upload a video, And I've gotten to that point. And because here's the thing, it takes a very dedicated person or group of people to get anywhere on YouTube. You have to have consistency. Because I think a lot of people are like David, where, David is the normal here. I'm the freak. David is the normal, where people doing YouTube, if someone tries YouTube, they start, and then something happens in life, and then they fall off of it. And that's why a lot of people don't get somewhere. So that's, again, one of the few traits about myself that I like, is that I'm obsessively going to continue doing it, right? And the best advice I ever heard when it came to YouTube was, the best thing you can do is show up, because if you continue to show up, they can't deny you. Eventually, they'll come, right? You build it, they will come.
Exactly.
So that's just my advice to you. If you ever want to get somewhere, even if you're someone like David, like, let's say you're doing something solo, you almost kind of, it's a sucky situation, but you almost kind of have to force yourself to, like, push stuff out there. But if you can't and you want to actually have, like, a fucking life like David, then I greatly recommend a group channel. Like, get a friend and balance each other out. Like, have, two people that make content, and you can kind of, like, fill in for each other. And that's why I'm very grateful that this is a group channel. And I'm also very proud of the fact that we have many different personalities here, including our guests, right? We have atheists like David, we have agnostics like Thurman, and we have Christians like me. We have, most of us are lefties on the political spectrum. I was going to, joke about Justin and Alberto. There was once a man named Alberto on our channel, and he was a Trumpy. He's gone now, needless to say.
And not because of his political views.
No, not because of his political views, but he did kind of, like, border on, like, neo-Nazi, didn't he?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
And then Justin's more of a centrist-y guy. But, like, my point is that, like, we try to, like, have a wide spectrum of people and personality types here, and David just is on that other side of, like, for the most part, he's kind of like the quiet guy at the party, unless you get him drunk enough.
If you get me drunk enough, forget it.
Yeah. So David, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of something
if anybody knows the Jeremy Dooley tub story, that's me if I'm drunk enough.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when you're hanging out with David in real life, he's a pretty quiet guy, and he kind of has to tap into his, like, tipsy, wild, wacky personality when he does videos. Whereas luckily for me, it makes it easier. Who you see in the video is basically me. David, can you attest to this?
Pretty much.
So yeah.
I'll never forget the fact that you texted me to fucking tell me you found another of my blue hairs from where I was Neptune. I'm just half drunk there at that point because of the video we were trying to do yesterday. That
I literally held it up to the light and I was like, yeah, that is blue.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I can attest the carpet did not match the drape, so you're okay.
At this point, I think I might just upload this as its own video because it's hitting 15 minutes. So I might just upload this, like, clarifying, or I'm not too sure. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a decision. If not, if it's at the beginning of Spider-Man, I don't know. I'll have to decide. But I think it's good that we had this talk, got it detailed out there, and I hope people have the attention span to listen because I think it is important. But yeah, would you like to jump into Spider-Man?
Yep. 3, 2, 1.
Fucking Spider-Man! No!
Oh my good God.
Listen, first of all, fuck everyone involved with that deal and the fact, I get it. There's some fuckery in both directions, but man, I was watching interviews from when they first made the deal to bring him into the MCU, and it was all like, it's just the right thing to do for the fans, bro. The fans want it. And now, of course, now that the last one made a couple, what was it, like $1 billion or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So someone was like, hold on a second. I want some more money, bro. This isn't right.
So I get both sides of this scenario. Like,
well, first let's touch on the original deal. The original deal was Sony gets 95% of the profits of the box office. Disney Marvel gets 5%. But Disney Marvel gets profits of the toys, and but Sony also covers the cost of making the film. The new deal was going to be 50-50, but also Disney was going to spend half of the cost making it.
Yeah, so
it wasn't. I don't think that's that bad of a deal. I think it's kind of bullshit. I see, like, I don't know. I'm seeing people like vilify both sides here. I'm actually kind of a little bit more angry at Sony, because they already had the great. They were making 95% of box office, and it's not like Disney was like, no, we want 50, but you're still paying for the whole thing. No, they said, just let's 50-50 everything. Let's just make this simple, right? So, like, I just think it's a little greedy on Sony's part, because let's be honest, they tried multiple times to make a good Spider-Man movie, besides Spider-Verse, which wasn't even them. It was like some team of people that were actually passionate. Sony's people can't make good Spider-Man movies. So, at the end of the day, you needed Marvel. So what I see that they're trying to do is they got the fucking fame and adoration from what they did with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and now they want to take it back and use Tom Holland's name recognition so that to trick people into thinking, yeah, this will be a good Spider-Man movie, you know?
Oh yeah, see, I'm more in the middle of this one, and it's mostly because I'm looking at the plate that Kevin Feige has at, Disney/Marvel at this point. I agree with Sony on the fact that, like, there is way too much on Disney's plate for him to, like, spearhead alone, because the deal was he was supposed to be, from my understanding anyway, call me out in the comments if I'm wrong, he was supposed to be spearheading the fucking Spider-Man movies, but he's also spearheading almost everything else that just got announced. So, it's like, I get it. Like, you're fucking trying to protect your IP at Sony, and that's something I'm always for. Like, protect your IP, protect your image. I'm good with that. But also, it's dickish on their part, too, because fucking hell, you shit out quite possibly two of the worst movies in existence that did not have the name Uwe fucking Boll on it.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. You fucked up so bad on Electro. For God's sake. Was it Shocker or Electro? I don't even remember.
Electro. It was Electro.
It was Electro? I thought so, but I tried to purge.
I actually saw that one in theaters. I remember it very well.
I tried to purge Amazing Spider-Man 2 from my memory.
That was Pretty Colors, the movie.
Ooh, Pretty Colors, and electricity fixes a teeth gap.
Yeah. No, so, like, I agree with you, right? Because to me, the main thing here is this. They couldn't make a good movie without Marvel. They needed to run to Daddy Marvel and be like, oh, please, people that know how to make this character work, please. And now it just seems to me like they're thinking, like, well, we have Tom Holland. We have our shitty Venom spinoff. Let's just, like, shove them together, and people will because I guarantee you, here's what they'll do, okay? Because obviously right now it's still up as we film this, it's still up in the air. The Sony guy was like, maybe we can still make a deal, which makes me think that he saw the backlash and he was like, fuck, But what I think they would genuinely try to do if they went through with this is push it and try to, like, trick people into thinking it's still in the MCU. Because people that don't pay attention would be like, yeah, I guess Spider-Man 3, of course. You know what I mean? That's just the vibe I get.
Here's the issue I have with that. Because originally, back during Andrew Garfield's period, during the Amazing Spider-Man, fiasco, they were setting up the Sinister Six, right?
You think that's where they're going to go with it?
So, and then there was rumors of, like, part of the deal now is that Tom Holland has to appear in, like, the Venom movies, or, like, the Venom verses.
I feel bad for Tom Holland, because, like, he's being dragged around now like a fucking heroin needle. Like, I don't.
Yeah, he's definitely getting.
Is that an appropriate metaphor? I don't know much about how. Like, do people pass that around?
I mean, if they're idiots, yes.
Oh, you're right, because the blood thing. What about a doobie?
He's being passed around like the blunt at a party. Let's
you.
Go with that one.
I need my drug metaphor expert over here.
I am no expert by any means, but okay. But seriously,
can you imagine how Tom Holland's feeling? Like he's probably feeling like that picture.
He unfollowed fucking Sony on Instagram. Apparently, that's newsworthy. Apparently,
what?
By the way,
are you super sure that's real?
Like I'm seeing fucking like multiple articles like he unfollowed Sony on Instagram. I'm like, who the fuck cares? I'm like, cool. He's protesting as well with the fans, but also, why is this an article? Is it a slow news day, guys?
Well, it's pretty interesting, actually. Like I gotta be honest, I unironically can be into some TMZ shit.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, people unfollow people all the time. There are WWE superstars that don't follow the WWE. Anyway, getting off of that shitty, whatever that was. Like, I feel like now they're trying to be like, oh, let's finish the story we started way back when. While also trying to dig into, the recognition that, yeah, Tom Holland, he was the MCU Spider-Man. Love us. We exist.
Well, let's talk about the logistics of this is the fascinating thing, too, right? Because no Happy Hogan, no Iron Man fucking Spider-Man suit anymore, no Stark Tech, no Nick Fury, no, like the whole replacing Iron Man becoming the new Iron Man, can't do that storyline anymore. Well,
apparently there are 2 more Marvel movies that are being made.
Well, but wouldn't they be off the table now, or was that before?
This was part of the original contract. You signed up for 4 regular movies.
I feel like I would have heard about that. Like, I think one of the reasons people are freaking out is because those wouldn't be a thing anymore. Is how I took it.
Yeah, we'll know in the coming days.
Yeah, slap that shit in the comments if you know. Because I assumed that it was like, ooh, like, we fucked. I don't even know where they'd go with this if they don't wrap up the Marvel part of his story,
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Even as much as Andrew Garfield kind of sucked as Spider-Man in his own right, I mean, they've all sucked in their own right. Even Tom Holland has his weaknesses. Spoiling everything in existence is one of them.
I love him, though.
He's so pure, but goddamn, dude.
And preteen girls want to bang him.
They
really do. Like, it's kind of crazy. I know, because our artist is one of them.
I wasn't going to go there, but okay, you do you, buddy.
I'll bleep it. I'll be like, I know, because beep is one of them. Someone we know on the internet. Okay.
But like, dude's what, 21 at this point?
Wait, not preteens. She would just be a teen, wouldn't she? I'm just gonna bleep that whole part. That's all gone.
It's all gone.
That whole thing was just one big bleep. You'll never know. All right.
It's not me this time.
Thanos snapped that shit out of existence.
But is he snapping with his butt cheeks or his fingers?
Thanos ass clapped it out of existence. All I do is just clap my ass once in the entire universe.
But like, logistically speaking, taking away everything from that is just weird. Like, this is a Spider-Man that's existence was to become the new Iron Man, essentially. Like,
yeah,
the Iron
like I was like, he's gonna be the new, like, I took literally like Tom Holland. I was looking at him like the new Robert Downey Jr. Like, this is going to be like the new face of Marvel for the next phase. So you take this out, that's a big deal, And the sad part is this is all greed, right? Like, this is what happens when greed gets involved, because Sony now, they see what's happening and they're like, oh, I see how valuable Spider-Man is now. You know what I mean? No, fuck you. We're going to keep the 95% of the profits. That's the vibe I get. Like, I don't know.
I don't know what it is either way, really. Like,
Disney has some of it too, because like in the same vein, Disney's like probably thinking like, Jesus, we just made a movie that made $1 billion and we only got 5% of that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's definitely like, do you wanna share it? Do we want to share 50% or do we want to go for more?
Did you see the Screen Rant guy's video on it? He did a pitch meeting on this situation.
I did not yet. I'm gonna have to go fucking watch that.
It's so funny. He's just like, okay, I won't spoil it. Go ahead.
But it's definitely. See, Disney owns so much because they own Marvel, they own Star Wars, they own the Muppets. Wreck-It Ralph 2 was the, look at our museum of fucking acquisitions here, guys. Look at it. We own the fucking world. Bow down to the Mouse Empire or die.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, watch the fucking, the Muppet guy versus Stan Lee, Epic Rap Battles of History. It ends with fucking Walt Disney coming out, and he's just like, I own both of you. I own everything.
No kidding, like, it's scary. There's a graph floating around on the internet of, like, everything that Disney owns now.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
There's Amazon, and then there's Disney, then there's Google. That is our universe.
It's the Triforce of we own literally everything.
But, fucking, my God, dude, like...
I guess at this point, what else is there, I guess, in this video, anything else to talk about? I just logistics on the films themselves, your thoughts on who's in the right, who's in the wrong, if any, and, like, where we go from here, I guess, is what
just edit up the, you're both equally shit Rick and Morty meme.
Oh, yeah, you both suck equally, and I can prove it mathematically.
Yeah, that's literally how it is. Like, they're both scumbags. Sony literally just did a suck our dick fucking moment of, like, buying Insomniac outright.
Well, you know what it is? Like, this always happens. There's a creative team behind all these movies that just loves making movies, right? There's a team that's like, yeah, Spider-Man, we love Spider-Man, we want to make the fans happy. And then that team just gets drug around by all these billionaires fucking just whipping their dicks around, like, dick measuring contest, I'm going to throw more money at 50%. You know, and so it's just, creativity goes to die in a fucking billionaire's boardroom.
It really does. Okay, this is a weird way of putting it, but look at now that Disney owns Fox, and look at, even before that, look at how Fox milked Family Guy to the point where it seems like Seth MacFarlane is actively trying to kill his own show.
Did you see the Super Eye Patch Wolf just did a video on The Simpsons and why it goes for so long, right? And
I did not.
The conclusion he came to was there's an app called Simpsons Tapped Out. You know about that?
Oh yeah, the game, yeah.
That app made something stupid like upwards of like 10 million or more in profit, right? It was like ridiculous.
Yep. The same company, TinyCo, owned. I don't know if they still do because I did when I was at ITT. I would play that, the Family Guy one, the Quest for Stuff, constantly. Like I didn't sink a whole lot of money into it, but I saw how easy it was. It was bordering on like Candy Crush levels of fucking absurdity. To the point where there was this, I guess, modder by the name of Styles that made a modded APK and IPA file to where you could just get free fucking premium currency in the game and just buy everything that way.
Right. Well, but like main point though is that like his theory was the reason a lot of these shows keep going is so they can just keep selling merch or games or apps. Or, you know what I mean? So like everyone hates the show, but the IP is alive, right?
Yep.
So like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with, like, Sony. I honestly think that part of them thinks, well, we don't need Marvel anymore. They came in, they revitalized it, and now we can milk it for a bit. Because here's the thing, right? The masses have short memories, okay? Most people have short memories. So people are going to be like, yeah, Spider-Man, Tom Holland, you know, because most people don't look beyond who's starring in it. Like, Tom Holland, I know that guy. I'm the only freak that's looking at, like, who's directing it, who's writing it. You know what I mean? So, like...
Yeah, I don't so much dive into the writers as I do directors, but yeah, I feel you there. But also...
Do you mind if I finish my point?
I think a lot of this comes down to...
Just finishing my point real quick is that, like... So, most people, I feel, even if it was completely Sony-produced, that wouldn't really get that much news after, you know, this week. And then in 2 years, when the next Spider-Man comes out, everyone will have forgotten about that, and it'll make just as much money. And then people, you know, may or may not be like, that wasn't that good. But, hey, whatever, Spider-Man. You know, and then they'll make all that money, and they won't have to worry about the fucking deals or any of that shit. That's the vibe I get.
So, it borders on, also, I think there's a lot of the... You know me, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so I think a lot of this also borders on the fact that Sony's game, the Spider-Man for the PS4, is one one of, if not the highest selling PS4 exclusive titles to date. And they're like, oh, we made this. We could, now
they're getting a little big for their britches, is what it is. They're gaining confidence again. They're like, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe if we adapted this script with Tom Holland now, because we technically own Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's our bitch, and there's a lot that can be said about this at this point, but it's all speculation, sadly. Like, I would love to be able to be like, I have insider knowledge, and this
yeah, David has insider knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, there's no insider knowledge, there's no blah, there's no welcome to the news kind of moment. This is, fucking shitty-ass control.
Right. Into the news.
No, we're not Keemstar. We don't have this, like, I know everything.
Although David was considering making a drama alert on his second channel, because the one video we did that got amazing views was this Loot Crate drama.
I jokingly said, like, people like drama.
Yeah, they do. It's depressing. But anyway, wrapping it up, where do you think we go from here, David?
Where we go from here depends on whose dick gets sucked.
Yeah, financially.
There's no other way of putting it, my dude. Like, does Sony bow to Marvel / Disney, or does Disney bow to Sony?
Yeah, no, they have to have like a Cold War nuclear arms type, like, who's gonna fucking crack? Who's gonna do it? Yeah.
That's what it really boils down to. Like, now Sony owns Insomniac, which made the game, which is already getting a sequel. So they have that, and they're like, now we have this franchise. We won't have to pay Yuri Lowenthal to voice Spider-Man. We can get Tom Holland, or we can do,
like, everyone in the middle now is just going to be drug around. Like, that's how it was in the pitch meeting, by the way. That video of On Screen Rant where, like, the writer guy, the guy doing the pitch, they just took him out of the office and put him on a plane and flew him across. You're mine now.
Yeah, it's gotten to that level, and I can sadly foresee this if, like, now that they own Fox, I can see this with, like, they're going to gut the X-Men franchise. They're going to gut the fucking Fantastic Four franchise.
Is X-Men Sony as well?
No, but I'm saying, like, they're going to do the same thing to the stars from those, is they're going to pay out their contracts, and they're going to tell them to go fuck off. Even if they enjoy doing their roles, even if they, it's the same sad situation whenever there's this acquisition of IP. So, there's still a few holdouts and rights for movies and, comics and all that good shit that was sold off when Marvel was going bankrupt in the 90s. Namor's still out there. Technically, I think Hulk is still, in a way, owned by Paramount, even though he's in the MCU. So they can pull this shit at any time now.
It's such a mess, man. Like, the corporate world is a stressful world of, like, who owns what and how can, like, Jesus, can we just make cool shit, please? Thank you.
Exactly. Like, if it has the Marvel name on it, Marvel should be able to use it. But that's why we never got a full version of Civil War back in the day. That's why we will probably, just now be getting into good fucking X-Men movies, aside from Logan, which was amazing. But, like, Dark Phoenix, I didn't even bother seeing because one of my fucking good buddies that's a huge X-Men fan.
It looked shitty.
It was so bad.
It was also, like, a really forced feminist moment that Thurman showed me.
I mean, it's...
Like, cringily, though. Like literally, when he was talking about it, I was like, oh, I'm sure you're over-exaggerating. And they're literally in the middle. I watched the scene. Like, they're talking about, like, a dude who died. Like, oh, man, this guy died. It'll never be the same without him. And then she literally says, and by the way, I don't know why it's called X-Men, because the women around here are doing a lot more than the men. Like, it was out of nowhere.
Oh.
You have to see the scene. Like, again, like, trust me, when Thurman was complaining about it, I assumed he was being cringy, and I was like, you're over-exaggerating. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, I kind of got the same vibe with a lot of people bitching about the A-Force moment in Endgame. Like, okay, yeah, it was kind of shoehorned in, but that is an actual team inside the comic lore. Whatever. That didn't bother me as much as it did a lot of people, but that kind of shit, that forced humor attempt that kind of shit, that does bother me. Like, there's no point in that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But
although we are kind of slightly getting off topic, and my mom texted me to call her about 10 minutes ago. So wrapping up, though, I guess where I'm going with this is, I guess we just have to see where it goes. I hope they can come to an agreement because I've really liked Spider-Man being in the MCU, and I don't think the movies would be as good without Marvel's hand in it. And I do like this like plot line of him kind of replacing or being the new Iron Man. So spiritually, of course. So I hope that they can make a deal. I really do. I hope they realize that it's better for both of them to have that quality. I hope greed doesn't win for once, and we can have something nice here, and we can continue it going because I really like what the MCU's been doing with him. So for me, that's peace.
For me, the last thing I want to say is, hopefully, if they do have this like 50-50 share, I hope that it's not a forced share. Like, we are not making a movie either way unless you cave, because there are plenty of companies that would be like, I'm holding everything hostage. So I hope we don't get that. And if they do have him star in like the Venom verse and everything, that they write a competent script.
Poor Tom Holland. See, like, they could literally ruin this kid's career with their greed.
They could, and that's what I'm scared of at this point. More so than like Spider-Man leaving the MCU. I don't want his career to stagnate because of bad scripts. Because look at what Spider-Man 3 did to Tobey Maguire. Look at what the Amazing Spider-Man franchise has done to Andrew Garfield.
Like he's and he can't be liking this right now because like I know Tom Holland was loving what was going on with the Marvel shit and all that stuff. So like it would literally be like if you were at a job and you liked your bosses and all of a sudden they came in and was like, new management, bitch. You know what I mean? Like that shit's
that's something I'm all too familiar with.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time. But yeah,
so that's what I'm afraid of. I hope moving forward everybody can chill, go. It's California. Go smoke a blunt. It's legal.
Yeah, in general, just because right now they have a new president at Sony or whatever, and the previous one, when they were in an interview, they talked about how like, yeah, it was just the right thing to do for the fans. We want to do this for the fans. I hope this new guy can realize that, because at the end of the day, I understand they're making movies for money, but like they've made something fucking awesome here. They've done something really cool for the fans here, and I hope they can continue to do that, because that's what movies should be about: making people happy, not making people billionaires, in my opinion.
And Sony, R-rated carnage. Do not pussify it.
Yeah, honestly.
I want to see
Sony made Deadpool, didn't they?
No, that was
Fox.
I want to see Carnage rip a dude in half.
Yeah, honestly. And that's the other thing, too. Like, if you're going to have fucking Venom show up in Spider-Man, like, come on. Just make it badass.
Right. I was a fan of the Venom movie. It was not horrible. It definitely could have been done a little bit more violently, but I understand that they wanted to go for the PG-13, and they did it well. Now, keep doing it well, but Carnage cannot be PG-13, my dude.
It's in the title. Carnage.
It's not even just in the title. If you've ever read a Carnage comic, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
You got any I can borrow, bro?
I can send you the login to my Comixology.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to go read some Carnage. And with that,
peace.